Okay, hello and welcome to this World Electrolysis pre-event interview. I'm joined by Torben Hvid Larsen, who's Chief Technology and Operations Officer at Green Hydrogen Systems. So welcome, Torben.
Thank you.
So just to start off, would you be okay giving some insight to yourself and how you got into hydrogen, as well as some of the work that Green Hydrogen Systems plays in the market?
So I actually has an engineering background from wind with plus 20 years in wind, and of course a passion of solving global energy challenges around the world and the globe. And then of course I have, as I said, experience in scaling up and developing wind, and that of course I've taken with me here into the hydrogen sector. So that is a little bit about my background. I have a master in organization, yeah, and then of course the 20 years in wind, which suit me well here in hydrogen.
Okay. And could you give the audience a bit of insight into Green Hydrogen Systems and some of the work you've done in the market from the electrolyzer space?
Green Hydrogen System was founded back in 2017 by one of the founders that is actually still working here in Green Hydrogen System. It was focused on developing innovative and modular and scalable electrolyzer solutions. At that point, it was a small scale units, less than 100 kilowatts, that they looked at in the beginning. And now with 10 years plus later on, then we are looking at 6 megawatt units. Then we also have a plus 25 megawatt installed base with more than 46,000 operational hours and projects installed and deployed in more than 10 countries around the world. And then, of course, I truly believe we are known for pioneering high pressurized alkaline electrolyzers, combining with cost efficiencies with superior performance.
Okay. Is there a project at all that stood out to you, obviously from your role that Green Hydrogen Systems have been a part of? Is there a sort of a flagship project or just one that you're really proud of?
For us, installing and starting operating our prototype of our 6 megawatt unit is something we definitely can be proud of. It has been running extremely well in the past couple of months. We have demonstrated plus 2,000 hours in operations. We have demonstrated a lot of other things about standby time, ongoing unmanned operations for more than 200 hours. So I think we in totally are in a very, very good spot of the Green Hydrogen System.
Okay, thank you. What have been the challenges you've observed in the market from your perspective?
Yeah, I think let me divide it up in several of them. Of course, we have all the economical challenges we all see in the market where at least hydrogen is not yet economical competitive with other without subsidies and compared to other fossil fuels. And then, of course, what we also see, or at least right now, is that we have both high capex and opex costs that also delay the adoption. So in general, we have these economical challenges. If we look at the technical challenges, then at least from my chair and with 20 years of experience in wind, I think we need more or further advancements in efficiency, in durability, and also scalability. And then standardization across the industry, I think is also very, very needed. Then we also see some infrastructure and policy gaps. I would say the infrastructure, which we also have seen in wind, about the pipelines that is now delayed, at least in Denmark. We see Germany is coming on to meet their timelines. Storage of the hydrogen. I have met several customers that speculate in hydrogen. So they produce hydrogen when the electricity is cheap, and then they store it in tanks, and then they wait to sell the hydrogen when the hydrogen is expensive, so they earn money on that. And then, of course, the refilling stations, which, at least to my knowledge, is something we see in US and in Asia, but not in Europe. And then, of course, all these inconsistency or the policy inconsistency across the regions, which of course give a lot of uncertainties for our investors. They don't know whether it makes sense to invest now, or should they wait a quarter, or should they wait for better electrolyzers. Then we also see some supply chain issues. I think we're all aware of that rare earth materials is something we also use in electrolyzers to some extent. Us a little bit less than others maybe, and in other industries. But the whole global supply chain is simply disrupted. I will also say that what we have done in green hydrogen system is we have put our membership into what is called APQP for wind, which is an organization to standardize how we work with suppliers and how the suppliers work with quality. And that I truly believe is needed for this industry to mature faster and not being, I would say, 20 years behind wind. What we need to focus on is test and validation. So we are not, we haven't tested and validated our units. I would say, I can only speak for ourselves, but as a standard in the industry, we need to do much more of that to demonstrate that we have a reliable and a reliable product that actually can meet all the requirement that is coming from the customers. So we need to figure out how do we certify our units so we live up to the pressurized standards, the pressurized regularities, that we all do that. So we don't have someone who say, yes, I can deliver a unit that is not CE certified, for example, and others, they have to live up to that, for example, in Europe. So we need to play on equal terms here if we look across the world.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you for that. Just a final question. What's your sort of view on the future of renewable hydrogen? I know we've got targets that are fast approaching, but are you still optimistic towards the market? Are you, yeah. What have you said? Yes.
Of course I am. There's no doubt that we and hydrogen has to be much more cost competitive. So we need to cost out like it has done in other industries like wind. We need to look both on capex and opex to cost out, and we need to have focus on levelized cost of hydrogen. So one of the things from a product perspective, we have been looking at to have a outdoor version, simply a year-round operation unit that can produce hydrogen when needed. So we avoid a building, and a building goes directly into the OPEX cost, and therefore we reduce that, and therefore we reduce the levelized cost of hydrogen. So the spend, if you can say, or the spectra is quite wide for us to live up to both one part of it and also a second part. So as I see it, at least in the future, is we need to look at these policy support. We need to have governmental incentives to subsidies. We cannot compete with the Chinese that has subsidies, and we don't. If we start to have these, I call it internal partnership between us as hydrogen producers, it doesn't matter whether it's SOEC or PEM or pressurized alkaline or alkaline at normal. We need to get closer. We need to standardize. We need to make sure that we streamline the supply chain. We expand the infrastructure on the hydrogen as a partnership, instead of starting to compete on something that maybe is not core. And there is a lot of things in the industry that is not core that we can easily cooperate around and find common solutions, so we bring down the cost. We need to position us to be to lead the next phase of hydrogen revolution with cutting edge technology. And what does that mean? That means that we need to make sure that the power consumption has to go significant down. We cannot be in the area. We need to be below 50 in the future, which if we have to be competitive to other energy sources. And then we need to look at these strategic partnerships, be closer to each other, look at maybe other areas that not only hydrogen, but other areas that can help us, and then have a clear focus on sustainability and of course also scalability. So that is something when I look into the future, that the most important thing is how can we scale, how can we modularize, and how can we bring down the power consumption. That
Okay,
is
brilliant.
big focus areas.
Okay, yeah. Well, thank you so much, Torben. Thank you for that answer and for all your time today. I really appreciate it. For anyone who's
Welcome.
interested in for anyone who's interested in meeting Torben and some other representatives from Green Hydrogen Systems, yeah, make sure you join us in Cologne next month from the 11th to 13th of February, where yeah, Torben will be giving a presentation alongside some colleagues, and I think you've got another presentation in there as well. So yeah, brilliant. Thank you again, Torben.
Thank you very much, and have a nice day.